Hello, everyone. We are on campus of Idyllwild Arts Foundation in Idyllwild, California. It's here that students and artists of every age come from all over the world to pursue their education and their dreams. Between September and June, the campus is home to the Idyllwild Arts Academy, a boarding school with 300 students. During the summer, the campus is home to arts lovers between 5 and 85 who come here to follow their passions. So please stay with us.
Thanks to the Camelot Theaters for supporting the arts, bringing award-winning and nominated films, art films, and documentaries to the Coachella Valley. Thanks also to Dr. Betty Baxter, Certified Life Coach and Consultant, Cash Baxter, Rick and Rosine Supple, supporting the arts in the Palm Springs Cultural Center, Betty M. Barker Trust, Serp and John Conti Foundation, Stephen Philibosian Foundation supporting the arts and the Virginia Waring International Piano Competition, Dorothy and Harold Meyerman supporting the arts in the Palm Springs Art Museum, Coachella Valley History Museum sharing the unique history of the desert and its pioneers, Dr. Carrion Foundation providing scholarships for Coachella Valley Mexican-American students.
Spirits' Restaurant at the Mountain, a popular Palm Springs tradition of culinary excellence, is proud to support public television.
We are now in the Parks Exhibition Center, and I am with Stephen Frater. He is the Executive Director of the Idyllwild Arts Foundation and Director of the Summer Program here at the Idyllwild Arts Foundation.
That's right, Gloria. Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome, but I understand that right now you're in the midst of planning for the summer.
We are. Right now is perhaps our busiest time outside of the actual summer, as we put together the 120 plus courses we'll be offering next summer.
120, wow.
Yes, we have programs, as you may know, for students of all ages and abilities. We have programs for children, that's kids as young as 5. We have programs for teenagers, and then probably more programs for adults than anything else.
Right, and that is only during the summer because academic high school and the arts is in the winter, correct?
Absolutely. The Idyllwild Arts Academy operates during the traditional school year of September through June.
Okay, Steve, you have quite a history here. I understand you started as a student in the summer program.
I did, Gloria. I started in a year that shall remain nameless, but it was 50 summers ago, this coming summer. Yeah. I started as a 14-year-old summer student, camper, as we say, singing in the festival choir. I came for 5 summers as a kid. Student. I was a counselor here for 4 summers in the 70s. I was a faculty member here in the late 70s and 80s in the summer, and then came back to work full-time for the school in 1985.
That is so interesting. What attracted you in the first place, going back to your student years?
Well, I was and still am active to this day, but I was very interested in music. I was a singer. At 14, you know, who knows what we are, but I thought I wanted to be a singer. Mm-hmm. And it just so happened that the conductor of my high school choir was the conductor of the choir up here in Idyllwild in the summer. And you know, you hear about it during the year. I came, I only had to have my arm twisted once. After that, it was the most fantastic experience I've ever had.
I would think so. You know, of course, the summer program is different than the academic program, but to me, I look back at my high school years, and I loved my high school. But I think how wonderful it would be to go to a school where there was so much emphasis on the arts. And even in the summer, there is that emphasis.
Well, in the summer, we think it's a bonus because we don't have any of the academic subjects. It's all the art. No homework. Now, sometimes you have to go learn your music and practice and things like that, but no written kinds of homework.
Well, tell me about the programs, because they're so diversified.
Yes, they are. We do have, we have programs in pretty much all of the visual and performing arts, and that's dance, music, film, theater, visual arts, creative writing, and then a very large program of Native American arts for adults as well during the summer.
Have you always had the Native American arts?
Well, you know, the Native American tradition is part of Idyllwild. As a matter of fact, even on our campus, if you go out into our meadow, you will find in the boulders and the rocks down by Strawberry Creek, the metates, where the Indians, where the Kauai Indians, who actually are native to this area, ground their acorns. You know, the Indians they were pretty smart. They spent the winter down in the desert where it's nice and warm, and they would come up here in the summer. And our campus was the site of an Indian campground.
Oh, that's interesting. I never did realize that.
Absolutely.
But when you first came here, was that when it was still Isomata?
Yes, it was. It was the Idyllwild School of Music and the Arts.
Yeah.
And at that time, it was USC Isomata. It was owned and operated, or at least by University of Southern California for those years.
And then what happened to make it become what it is?
In 1983, the board of the Idyllwild Arts Foundation was able to purchase the campus back from USC, and we were able to embark on an independent course, which happened over the years. In 1994-95, I believe, we shortened the name from Idyllwild School of Music and the Arts to Idyllwild Arts. Yeah. And this is how you know us today.
Which encompasses all of the arts.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But you also have, in the summer, performances as well as the winter, don't you?
Well, we have
constant.
I would say no less than 7 to 10 performances per week. In the summer program, we have many more people coming through. In 8 weeks of summer program, we have about 1,800 students come through, and that's students of all ages and abilities. Yeah. So obviously there are many more opportunities to perform. There are more performing groups. We pack everything that happens during the school year into 8 short weeks.
One of the most really famous things, even though it's not, I don't think it's under the auspices, or it might be, of the Idyllwild Arts Foundation, but that jazz festival that is held every August up here. Yes. There is some relationship.
Oh, but there absolutely is. That is put on and sponsored by a group that is specifically designed to support Idyllwild Arts. That's the Associates of Idyllwild Arts. They are a separate 501c3, but all of the money that they raise and all of their good works go to support the students here at Idyllwild Arts.
Yeah, okay. You told me, I think before, if I'm not mistaken, that every teacher is a professional, which is not always true in the academic world at other regular schools.
Correct.
Go a little more on that.
Sure. All of our summer teachers, and a good number of our high school teachers too, but especially in the summer, we are able to, because it's a relatively short amount of time, a week, 2 weeks sometimes, so we're able to get people who might not otherwise be available for longer periods of time. They are all what we call artist teachers. Many of them are involved in education during the year, but they all work professionally. That is, the people who direct our theater programs are real directors and actors. The people who conduct the orchestras are real conductors. Yeah. The artists who teach the classes are real artists who make living making art.
That is fantastic. It really is.
It's a great opportunity for students.
And also, unlike the regular academy during the year, where you have to, I'm sure, be accepted, I imagine there's a certain audition or certain procedure. But here, anyone can come for the summer, correct?
For most programs, that is true. For all of the theater and visual arts, writing programs, anyone can, it's first come, first serve. For some of our music programs and dance, we do require a bit of an audition, even in the summer program. We just don't want to have students be in a place where they're not comfortable and we're not comfortable.
Yeah. You know, as we speak, I believe that the registration for the summer program has started.
It has, indeed. We start this summer, June 15th, and our last concert, which will be in Los Angeles, is August 10th.
In Los Angeles?
Yes, we will.
Students from here?
We will taking some of our music students as we did last year. Right now the venue is not, it will either be at Walt Disney Concert Hall or at Royce Hall at UCLA.
Steve Rader, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gloria.
I'm Ellen Rosa Taylor, and I am chair of the dance department here at Idyllwild Arts Academy. We are a multidisciplinary dance program. Our students study ballet, modern, and jazz. It's a place where, for dancers specifically, they can come to get more intense training than they had at home. And the students dance 4.5 to 6.5 hours a day. We put on 3 productions a year. They have opportunities to choreograph their own show. They have opportunities to work with guest artists. All of our faculty has danced professionally or run their own company professionally, so they have not only teaching experience but professional world experience, which they can give to our students as they're going out into the world. We're all striving for the same goal of giving our students the passion of dance.
Now we're in the dining room, and along with all the students, we found somebody who's a teacher. And I know that you are teaching a summer program. You're also a teacher here. You're a screenwriter. How did you happen to come here and be involved as an instructor of screenwriting?
Isaac Webb, who brought me in, was the head of the department a while back. And we've known each other for years through Sundance Institute. And he brought me in and fell in love with it. I just love teaching.
So how often do you teach the screenwriting class?
I teach 2 days a week here. I teach 2 days a week at USC. But it's, teaching, it's really invigorated my writing. I love being around young students, new to the craft, just sort of figuring out who they are as writers. So it's great.
Aren't they lucky to have help from a professional like you?
Yeah, I'm lucky to have them. They're helping me as well.
That's great. Thank you. Well, we just caught up with Jewel. That's not a real name, but everybody calls her Jewel. And Jewel, you have been here at the Academy for how long?
This is my 3rd year here. I'm a junior this year.
Yeah. But you started in the summer program before you got into the academic one?
Yes, I got accepted into the school the summer before I was a freshman, and so I decided to come check out the film summer program to see if I was going to like the school. And I did. I love it.
Okay, and you came from Mexico?
Yes, I'm originally from Villahermosa, Tabasco. Tabasco, like the hot sauce. And that's where I grew up, and I lived there for 12 years.
So how did you learn about Idyllwild Arts?
I was doing some research online because at first my dad wanted me to go to boarding school in England. But my parents ended up deciding that it was way too far, that if something happened, they wanted to be able to come see me or just take me home right away. And doing some research and just looking up schools and art schools, I found out about Idyllwild online.
And what is your expertise?
I'm mainly a cinematographer and an editor, and that's what I would like to do in the future professionally.
And have you been doing it here at the school? I mean, have you been editing film that others can see?
Oh, yeah. Last year I edited the short film called Brothers, written and directed by my best friend Harold Brand, who graduated last year. And I also did cinematography for a short film, which also included some stop motion animation. It's called Novellosaurus.
We are outside of the dining hall with Anthony Lopez, who came here, no, not from Spain or Mexico, but all the way from France. I find it interesting that someone from France, where so many Americans go to study the arts, that you came here to Idyllwild.
Yes. Well, it's kind of like my family is a bit of a traveler family, so we like just to discover new places like here, which is a really odd place, but a really beautiful one, so I was really happy to be here.
You also, of course, being in school, have to do academics, English, math, the various things that have nothing to do with the arts that you also have to study.
I'm kind of a hard worker, so I didn't really have a problem with that. I already studied in France, and the level of education in France is really high, so I didn't have a hard time here.
Yeah. I know you're interested in the visual arts.
Yes. Right now I'm studying mostly craft class, such as sculpture, painting, and on the side I'm doing all my concepts about my art, such as like my ideas for the future, for my senior show. which is at the end of this year.
Now, what do you want to do in the visual arts when you leave here?
Well, I quite don't know, but I think I will go for design or illustration.
I'm Justin Barrett. My title is Mathematics Department Chair. We're special and unique because of the way we teach math is a huge focus on group work and collaboration and problem solving in class, where your instructor is going to do some lecturing, but also quite a bit of facilitating good group work. Every day you come in, you have a new problem to solve or a new lesson to do as a group. I think most people have probably had the experience that when you can teach something or explain something well to someone, you really get it. And that's one of the things we go for, when the kids can show each other how to do something or explain something well to their group members, they really seem to get it. I have students in my calculus and physics classes who love those classes and who are great students, and then they're great dancers, they're great filmmakers, or great creative writers. So I think that's who we're looking for, is someone who's passionate about art, passionate about everything in life, and has lots of interests, and wants to explore all those interests to their fullest.
Doug Ashcraft is head of school here at the Idyllwild Arts Academy. All right, now head of school means that you are head of both the academic part and the arts? Mm-hmm. How do you combine it?
Well, I don't. I have people who do that.
Oh.
But it is, we have a year-round high school, so the kids have half of their day in the academics, math, science, all that college prep stuff. Mm-hmm. And then each of them has an arts major, which they study from 2 in the afternoon until 6:30 is the arts schedule, and then they have an hour for dinner, and then usually there's a rehearsal period after that for the kids until 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. We have 4 deans: the dean of the arts, academics, dean of students, who takes care of all things about the dorm and the kids, life and food and all that, and then our dean of admissions. So they all work with me.
Okay, now that is the academy. So do you get involved at all in the summer program?
A little tiny bit.
Okay.
I usually sit in my office and do academy stuff very quietly. Yeah. But then there's a 2-week piano camp in July. We have several different piano camps, but there's one for high school students in junior high age, so age about 12 to 18. Mm-hmm. And I teach that for 2 weeks. Mm.
That's exciting.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, now you're talking about these piano camps. Do the students have to audition to get into the camp to be accepted?
They do. They need to send, it's all in our website and in our catalog and all that, a very just fairly general list of the types of pieces of music that they should present. And we just want to make sure, it's not as much an audition as it's just in making sure that the kids are basically all of the same level, and that they're going to be up for all of the things we're going to throw at them in the 2 weeks.
Yeah. One of the things that I find fascinating about this campus, as compared to other campuses around the country that are not with an emphasis on arts, is the fact that this is one campus where it's almost like the students can be themselves in a nice way, but there doesn't seem to be any bullying here.
I think this is a very special place. I think you're right. I think the kids come here, and sometimes they have experienced something in their old school. Either they were, the weird kid, or why does that kid want to practice, that instrument that long, or why are their clothes always covered in paint because they're in the studio or whatever, and they come here, and everybody's just like they are. And so they don't experience that anymore. And I think it makes some of the kids feel really comfortable.
Yeah. Now, from your standpoint, as one who started as an accompanist and suddenly now you have all this responsibility, head of school, that sounds very important. What was it that has attracted you so?
Well, when I first came, I was straight out of grad school. So it was the fact that the students worked at such a high level. And I still think that's very important, and I love working with my piano students, like Elias, who was playing a minute ago. But, you know, I just love this age student because they're so open and they're so, they're funny and they're, you know, we just have great kids who go on to do really exciting things. And I think it's because at our school, we do take academics seriously as well as the arts. So, you know, they're intelligent people that can have good conversations with you, and they can play the piano, or they can, you know,
Dance.
write a story or whatever. So.
I wanted to take a year abroad and experience a new culture and a new life in another country. And I always wanted to go to the States, and I heard of Idyllwild Arts because I'm very interested into music, and music is my life, and I wanted to study music. And this school is one of the best schools for both jazz and classical in the country. And I came here originally as a jazz major, but after 1 year, I switched to classical, and I've been studying that for 2 years now.
Did you ever think you'd stay that long when you first came?
No, I was actually planning on just coming for 1 year and then going back, but the school offered me a good scholarship, and I really, really liked it here. And once I got the permission from my parents, I decided to stay till I graduate.
I think it's wonderful, the performance, as you mentioned, performance, that you were in a company, so you have performances very often. And I'm wondering about the outreach program. When I spoke to Steve earlier, he mentioned that there's going to be a performance that might be at Disney Hall or at UCLA. So how many performances come out of this school?
Well, there are dozens and dozens and dozens on campus that anybody can come to, because they're always open to the public and they're free and all that sort of thing. In the spring, when the musicians are working and giving their final concerts, there might be something nearly every night of the week here.
Yeah.
During the school year, though, we take the orchestra off the Hill usually 1 or 2 times, and this year I think they're performing at Sherwood Auditorium in La Jolla, and we take chamber music sometimes to LA and places like that. But one of the things we do in the desert is our piano kids work with the Steinway Society of Riverside County, which is located in the desert.
Correct.
And they perform in the Coachella Valley schools.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So yeah.
That really is. Now, another thing that I heard is that you provide transportation for students, not you, but the school, who are taking private lessons away from campus.
Yeah, all of our music students are, as part of their program, is every student has a private lesson on their instrument. So the way that works is we have full-time faculty in Idyllwild for the students that we have a lot of, say piano, the voice students study here, the violin students, because we have a number of them. But there are certain instruments that we only have 1 or 2 students, like, for example, clarinet. So for their private lessons, they go into Los Angeles every Wednesday, and then they come back. And that enables us also to employ as faculty members of the LA Philharmonic, LA Opera, and those kinds of studio musicians, you know, who play for the movies and things like that.
That is wonderful.
It's a great opportunity.
And it's my understanding that all of the instructors actually are professional.
They are.
Yeah, so that you're not only learning from somebody who dreams of a career, but really has one. And and knows also perhaps how to go about, once you get out of school, moving forward.
Right. That's all of our responsibility, really.
Yeah.
I mean, in the art side, like our dance faculty are still dancing professionally in Los Angeles and all that, and everybody on the faculty really takes it seriously that their responsibility is helping these students figure out what's next. And you know, for some of them it's college and or a conservatory or that kind of program. For some of them it's, you know, like some of our filmmaking kids, they just want to go straight to Los Angeles and start working. So it's our job to kind of help them set
You've
that
had
up.
some famous people involved here, and somehow the name Bella Lewitsky rings in my mind.
Yeah.
And did she teach here or what? What was
She
that
taught
story?
here and had her company here through the 60s, I believe, and the 70s in the summer. And they worked here and were part of the whole summer
And you've had
scene.
students who've gone on to fairly big careers.
Sure.
Do you know offhand? Can you mention any?
Well, we have, in the dance world, we had Neil Beasley, who is in the Trisha Brown company, and he's one of her major dancers now. We have music students who've gone on to big jazz careers. I saw one of our kids on the Michael Bublé Christmas special like a year ago. He's the jazz guitarist that plays with him.
Yeah.
Some of them are not names that you would recognize, but yet they're kind of everywhere. One of our music graduates is the principal oboe of the New York Philharmonic.
Oh my.
And he's one of our first kids that came over from China and studied here for his education. So our kids are kind of everywhere. We had an American Idol finalist a couple years ago, and that was all fun for us to be voting, as many times as we possibly could, and all that. But his name is Casey Abrams. So
very rewarding to see all this.
Yeah. And our kids are really great too, because they stay in touch with us, and we have them back on our campus. And,
and they come back to share, which
They
is
do.
so important, I think. Yeah. Well,
So.
it seems to be a very, very special place.
It is. We love it here.
Yeah. I want to thank you so much for sharing your time with us. I've just loved being up here.
Well,
oh my.
It's a special experience.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Thank
great.
you so
Thank
very,
you.
very much.